Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Saturday morning and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. I see kids in the room. We got Tyler in the room. That's cool. Kid says it's a rainy day in Georgia. Well, as you can see here, it's completely sunny. In fact, on Saturday mornings, I have to wait until like a certain time in the day because it is so sunny that like my art space is all covered in light. And like around about this time, it like the sun has moved just enough where I can actually draw a picture and you guys can see it. So it's kind of fun. Usually I don't do live streams on Saturdays. It's just I was kind of busy this week on my Thursday live stream and I wasn't able to get to it. So we're going to do a live stream today. We're going to do a dog in charcoal just to practice my charcoal skills. Huli, who is a friend of the show, posted a picture of a dog earlier this morning, and I'm like, I'm going to steal that dog. So we're going to draw Huli's. I don't think it's Huli's dog. I think it's a friend of hers or something like that that she's watching for the weekend. But that's where we're going to draw. If that's cool for you, hang out with me and chat. I see Just Dave made it into the room. Cool. But it's just a low key Saturday morning. So let me go in. So I've already got my paper here. I kind of already figured out where on the paper I want the dog. So I'm just going to jump in and start working. So the difference between Saturday and my evening live streams, Saturday morning and my evening live streams, is that I do drink coffee. Like it's a little early for bourbon, but it's still good. I love coffee too. So anyway, I'm just going to jump right in. It's a pretty cool dog. I wish I had the foresight to kind of set up a like a picture of what the dog's going to look like, but hopefully you guys can use your imagination. So I'm going to use my charcoal technique that I've kind of like been trying to practice, trying to make consistent, where I start with using a bit of charcoal and a like a blending tool just to kind of model the dog in, and then I'll come back with some other techniques and stuff and add some features and stuff like that. So it's always nice when Just Dave's in the room because Just Dave's from the UK, so I get to say I'm an international artist. So welcome to the show. Yeah, last night was fun. I went to a gallery hop. I've talked about those before. It's when all the different galleries in town kind of like do like a late night thing where they put out food and wine and drinks and things like that. And it's kind of like a bar hop, but you go around to all the different galleries and just see what's there and stuff like that. And this one was kind of cool. Somebody had this like neat light display going on. It was almost like a club, like a I don't know, like a rave party or something like that. Like all these like cool lights and music and stuff like that. And that was like a little bit different than what I'm used to going to see at these galleries. I go for mostly the food, like it's free food. Just Day says 3 p.m. here. Oh, nice, cool. Yeah. Oh, speaking of betting, I've got a real treat tomorrow. So there is a horse race track in town called Red Mile. I don't expect anybody to be familiar with it, but they do mostly like carriage, not carriage, whatever the two wheel carts are. I guess maybe cart horse racing a lot, and they have these special events just to draw in crowds. One that I usually go to is a wiener dog race, which is yeah, a buggy. There you go. So they sometimes have a wiener dog race, which I think is next month. So I'm going to go to that anyway. But this month, tomorrow, they're doing ostriches and camels, and I love camels. Like especially, they usually drag out camels for like nativity scenes at Christmas. That's the only time I ever get to see them. But they're apparently doing camel racing tomorrow, which I think is going to be awesome. So I'm going to go and check that out. I think that'll be really cool. Camels and ostriches. So I'm not even sure I've ever I think I've seen an ostrich at a zoo, but if I ever did, I don't remember. But just watching ostriches race, I hope it's every bit as cool as it sounds. It sounds awesome. So I'm gonna go check that out tomorrow. And then the other thing that's cool about that racetrack is they have cheap $2 beers. So I like to go in there and watch wiener dog races while drinking cheap $2 beers. So it sounds like a degenerate gambler's dream to like just go to the track and drink cheap beer and watch the races and stuff. But I don't know. I think that it's kind of classy just because it's like wiener dogs and ostriches and camels. It's not as bad as it sounds. So I do like this technique. By the way, it's a way to get in some really soft areas. Might take a little bit more time than some of the other techniques, but I've done this in the past and I like how it looks. So this is the way I do it. And I wouldn't say I exclusively do it this way. There's probably a couple of different ways that I do this kind of modeling of the animal, like getting in their basic structure. Um, but this is the one that I've been trying to practice lately, just because I like the technique. I like how it looks in the end, and if I can get it down to like a method, then I'll have like a consistent style, which is like the holy grail of like what new artists like myself are trying to do. Like we're always trying to develop a style. Speaking of styles, I saw this one lady at the gallery hop last night that kind of threw me for a loop. So she does. I wish I had some examples that I didn't just have to describe it. I should have took some pictures, but she does she does these abstract paintings. So like I thought the paintings were cool, so that's why I went into her booth and I was looking at those, and then I saw like these pencil drawings that she did. She does graphite pencil drawings that are so technical and they're so precise and like almost photorealistic, but a little bit styled, but they're pretty photorealistic. And then her paintings are like completely opposite. They're like formless, abstract. There's not much detail to them. It's mostly just like forms of color. I thought that was really interesting. I felt like I could relate because my styles are kind of all over the place. Just Dave says Afghan hound racing is fun to watch. The way their coat flows in the wind. I always think they should make it into a dog shampoo advert. Yeah, Afghan dogs. Yeah, those are the ones that look like walking carpets. I think I know which ones you're talking about. I'm not very good with like identifying breeds and stuff, but I'm pretty sure I know what those are. They look like just big shag carpets. I think I got like allergies going. My nose keeps sniffling. Let's see. Hopefully I got. Yeah, yeah, I got some tissue over there. Cool. So I don't know what kind of dog this is. I want to say it's like a little terrier or something. It's a small dog, but it's got these like big eyes, which is really what I want to get at. Like it's going to take me a moment to get to them, but I just wanted to do the guy's eyes. They're so cute. Afghan illustrated. That's funny. I would like to see a catalog of like, or like a calendar or something, not just of dogs, but like dog drawings, like dog art, or like just animal art, really. I actually debated, like, I was going to draw a horse today, but Hooli posted this dog, and I just like the expression on the dog, so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to draw that instead. But there's a horse show. So the reason why I couldn't do the live streams Thursday is because I went to a horse show. It's run by the Pony Club at the horse park. I don't know what event it is, but it's one of their big ones. And I was out there because they do cross country equestrian stuff there, and that's my big thing. I like the cross country uh, things, so I went out there for that. But I mean, it's just really cool. I should walk around the horse park and just film it for you guys. Like, there's a video that like I took a bunch of video for an event back in sometime in spring. Here it is, like midsummer, pushing the end of summer, and I still haven't made that video. I don't know. I kind of like these live streams are easier for me because I just hop on and I talk and stuff. Those standalone videos, the reason why I don't make them all that often is because there's actual work involved. Like you take the clips and you try to edit out the boring stuff. The idea is that like these live streams are like 2 hours. You guys probably don't watch all of it. You're probably doing other things like like Just Dave's probably like, betting on like horses at the track, and it's 3 p.m. so he's probably into his pint of Guinness already, and you know, you guys are doing other things while watching this. Well, the standalone videos, like they should be like less than 20 minutes or whatever. So you do like a lot of editing, and the editing, I don't know, for me, it's just not my thing. Because like you try to condense something down to like 20 minutes, it's like you're rewatching the same thing 30 million different times. You're gonna make a dog art calendar for us to buy? Well, no, I wasn't thinking like it'd be something that you buy. I just think it would be cool. Like, I don't know, do people still use calendars? I just think it'd be kind of cool to see like a catalog of animal art. Like, I don't know. I guess you could apply filters to like art websites or something to just see pet stuff, but like, I don't know. Like on Instagram, I follow a lot of other like wildlife and pet artists and stuff so I can like learn from them. And it'd be kind of cool to see like a collection of that kind of art. Just A says it looks like a Boston Terrier or French Bulldog to me. Yeah, okay. All right, that makes sense. Yeah, it's a little dog. You can tell. So hopefully I can get this looking right. Let's see. Go ahead. Wait a second. I always forget. I need a box of tissues here. I always forget, and then I have to use a paper towel to like, like get my allergies and dribbles off. It's painful if you do it a lot. Let's see. Can't really tell those two apart, to be honest. I mean, I defer to you. You're the expert. Like you definitely know horses, not horses. Sorry, dogs better than I do. I know a little bit about them, but it is not something that like I can tell the difference. And, like I know big dog, small dog. I can't tell the difference. So kid, if anything, if I made a book, I think what I would like to do is make a coffee book, a coffee table book. So something that would sit on the coffee table and have all my coffee paintings in it. I think that that's probably the thing that I would make, just because I like the concept of it. Like you're at your coffee table and you have a book of art that is literally made in coffee. I'll probably actually get around to that. I don't know if like it'll be for sale or whatever. I might make a PDF out of it and just give it away. I might make it for sale. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think a good book for that would be the coffee paintings. And the reason why I haven't done it yet is because like I don't read a lot of like art books or look through a lot of art books. So I would like to kind of take a look at some of the books that other people have made for their art and kind of get some ideas for that. So that's a whole project. I just haven't done it, but yeah, I think a coffee table book would be kind of cool. Just something like you have on your table and people flip through it, like when they come to visit or something. I don't know. I think that'd be better than a calendar. I don't know. It's just me. I don't have physical calendars that much. Other people might, but like all my stuff's on my phone. Like I use Google Calendar for everything. Probably not the most efficient thing, but I like Google Calendar. Um, I like the whole Google like just system, right? So like I don't do it as well as I should, but there's this system called the like One Touch email or something like that. I don't know the it was one something or another, but it's kind of like this philosophical concept where you should only ever open an email one time, right? And you open the email and you kind of decide like, is it something I need to do? Well, if it's something you need to do, then you schedule it, right? So you throw it into your calendar or something like that. Or you look at it as like, is this something I need to follow up on and like look into, right? So then you might throw it in as either like a task or you might throw it in as like a note or something. These are all in Google Calendar. So like if you open Google Calendar on the right side, they have like they have the calendar, they have like notes, and they have like tasks, and I kind of use those things. So like, is it spam? I delete it, right? Is it something that I have to follow up on? I kind of like leave myself a note. So like that's the reason why I never get back to anybody's emails, is because like I go off and throw them in as tasks and then I forget about them. So like I'm not very good at that, but that's where I want to be. That's like the system I want to adopt. I want to be more productive than I actually am. I just, I'm not there yet. I don't know why I was talking about emails, but like, all right. So I feel like there's enough of like, the Batman mask in there enough. So where I feel like I can work on these eyes, because I want to get these eyes in here real quick, just so that there's something to look at while I continue drawing. You know how it is. The eyes are the windows to the animal soul. So I want to make sure that I get those done sooner than later. Yeah, we're only like 15 minutes into this, so like I feel pretty good about it. But he's got these cute little eyes. They're almost like marbles floating in a sea of milk. That's a bad metaphor. I am not a poet. They're like marbles floating in a sea of milk. Yeah, so I'm not gonna win any like poetry awards here. I did post my finished wood burning thing. I got to go and hide that out in the woods. I might do that today. There's a park with a walking trail. I want to hide a little bit off the walking trail so that like somebody stumbles upon it, but also like I don't want to make it too difficult. Like I want somebody to find it and take it home with them and stuff like that. I also had the idea that like I would so like I like the idea of distributing my art without like, I don't know. It'd be awesome. Like if I could draw a dog picture and somebody might buy it for like $500, right? But that's not going to happen. But I do want people to like enjoy my art. So like I like sending art to people. Some of you guys like you guys have received my art. I love that kind of thing. And then other times it's like I draw pictures that don't really speak to people. Like this is somebody's dog, right? So this, like that person might actually be interested in this picture, but most people, they look at this dog and they're like, oh, that's a cute dog and stuff, but they don't have like any kind of like real attachment to this dog. So this dog will probably never actually find a home. It'll just like sit in a drawer or something of like pictures that I've done just for practice. But some of the pictures like you can see on the back wall, like I think that eagle that I did for July 4th, that I like the style of it. I like the colors of it. I think that looks really cool. So okay, so the eagle thing, this is I'm rambling here, but I'm arriving at a point. So I feel like the eagle should find a home, right? So I got this idea kind of from doing the wood burning thing, where I plan to just leave it out in the woods for somebody to find. So for the eagle thing, obviously I couldn't leave that out in the woods. But my idea there is that I'll go to Goodwill and I'll buy a frame and I'll take it and I'll take the eagle and put it in the frame, so that like I'm repurposing the frame, and then I'll donate it back to Goodwill, right? So I'll take the eagle, put it in a frame that I got from Goodwill, donate it back to Goodwill with like my contact info in there, and then somebody is going to happen upon that eagle sitting there in Goodwill. They're going to be like, oh, this is a cool picture or whatever. And then they're going to buy it, and then they're going to take it home, and they're going to find my contact information. And then they're going to reach out and say, hey, I bought your eagle. That sounds really cool to me, right? So I'm looking at doing kind of things like that. I like the whole idea of found art. If I was a graffiti artist, which, I kind of would be into that if I was younger, but like at my age, I realize there's consequences to like vandalism. But if I was younger, I like the idea of just doing like, going out in the middle of the night and putting up a painting on in like some public space or something like that. I like that idea. And then my street art, which I might do today actually, because it's been kind of cool. Like if this is nice out today as it was yesterday, because yesterday it was like low 80s, so it wasn't that bad, especially compared to what we've been having. So like if it's as nice as it is today, if it's as nice today as it was yesterday, I might actually go out and do my like my street chalk because I like public art. I like it's one of the reasons I enjoy doing the show and interacting with you guys. I like not really having an audience, but like I don't want it to sound like narcissistic. Like I love having an audience, right? I love people watching. It's more like I love interacting with people in a public space. So I think that's kind of cool. So like if I ever took on like a huge project where I'm creating art for like the public or something, I would love to like actually think that through and have that be like art for a public space. I would love to be a mural artist, to be honest. That would be cool. Like where you're painting the side of a building, like a big huge piece like that. And then like, I don't know, 10, 20 years down the road, you can come back and still see that painting on the side of a building. I don't think I'll ever be a mural artist, but if I ever got the opportunity to, that would be awesome. Um, Kid says that would be really cool. Just Dave says, or find an Eagle associated book in the library and leave a pic between the pages. Yeah, so that'd be kind of cool. So like with that one's pastel, so it's got that whole chalky stuff. So I would have to find some way of like either really applying a lot of fixant so that it's locked into the paper, because I wouldn't want to mess up the library book. But yeah, like especially like a drawing or something, like a pen and ink drawing, or I don't know why I say pen and ink, like those are different things. Um, like an ink drawing. That would be a great, yeah, just kind of slip it in like it's a bookmark or something like that. That would be cool. Um, Just Dave says, I watched a video recently where a woman we. I don't know what that means. If you're watching women we, that's your business. But I'm going to assume that you meant something else there. But yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you watched that video. I'm just messing with you. I do like the idea of like, yeah, if you created some art, just kind of slip it into the pages of like a library book, or you know, there's still Barnes and Nobles out in the world. Like they're actually opening a new Barnes and Noble here for some reason. I that surprises me. I thought that Barnes and Nobles are struggling. Okay, so Jeff Dave's clarifying. Went around to different businesses asking if they had shares so for her to do a mural on. Ended up doing a whole wall. Turned out great. Spoiler: there was no weeing in the video. Yeah, so like I would love to do murals. That would be so cool. So actually, the library in my town and stuff, there are some like like pieces that you could tell were done by local artists. I'm curious, like what's involved in that. Like if I just wanted to, I just want people to see my work. Yeah, yeah, it's spare space. So yeah, like I feel like people like if you developed a portfolio of your work so that they know what to expect, and you went around and asked people like, hey, I like sometimes I go driving around and I see a wall that's bare, and I'm like, man, that would be perfect for a mural. So I think, I mean, I'm nowhere near there. I'm maybe like a year or two down the road or something. I could see myself, you know, putting together a portfolio and seeing that wall there that's blank, where I think like, yeah, that would be kind of cool to see a mural on, and then just approaching them cold approach where you just like ring them up and just be like, yo, I got this like lookbook, I guess. I don't know if that's a proper term, but I've got this book of art that I've done. This is kind of like my style. This is what I have in mind. I see your blank wall there. If you buy the paint, like if you fund the project or whatever somehow, I'd be happy to do the work. I think that'd be kind of cool, you know. I told you guys about how when I was a kid, like a teenager, I would go down into like drainage ditches and stuff like that because like I'm not encouraging kids to go crawling around in drainage tunnels and stuff like that because it is dangerous. You shouldn't do that. But I did do that, and there's the walls of the tunnel itself, like if it's tall enough where you can walk into them. But there's also like little chambers down there, and me and my friends would go crawling around in those tunnels and then hang out in like almost like rooms and stuff and like caves and stuff, same deal. Here in Kentucky we have like because it's limestone and it's very porous, we have a bunch of caves. um they're not as private as they used to be back in the day. So like I don't know, most caves there's probably some cave exploring society that knows of them, catalogs them, and probably goes in them and stuff like that. But back in Tom Sawyer's days or whatever, that's where the kids would go and hang out. They would go and find a cave, and that'd be their clubhouse or whatever. So for me and my friends, it was like drainage areas and stuff like that. So anyway, I would go down in there and I would do like murals and graffiti and things like that. As an adult, I can't really do that stuff, or I probably could, but people would frown upon it. It would not be good. Um, but yeah, I mean that kind of stuff would be kind of cool. So like, yeah, I think that if I had a portfolio book or whatever, and I just kind of went to say a business owner or something like that who has a building, or like I don't know, like a city council or something. I don't know who approves those murals, but so the town I live in, Lexington, Kentucky, they are pretty art forward, I would call it. Like they have a lot of murals. Um, I don't know who funds that or like how that works out and stuff like that, but maybe I can look into it. I'm not there yet. Like I'm drawing dogs in charcoal. I'm not prepared to do like the big um, wall of a building or something. So anywho, I think this is like looking pretty good. So the process here has been, to kind of like block in features of the dog's face in this kind of like soft charcoal of doing this blending brush. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna go and move into doing some more detail. I can always come back and kind of work some of this stuff here. I mean, he looks mostly three-dimensional, but there's some areas where like this is a really soft gray. I feel like I need to start moving into doing the black areas. I need to really work on doing dog's paws. I think I struggle with that. Like I kind of phone it in. Dog paws and human hands are tough for me, so kind of. But I do kind of want to just give myself a little bit to work with here so that I know basically where that stuff starts and stops and stuff. So, all right, that's looking pretty cool. Um, all right, so the next part of this technique that I've been working on, again, there's a million different ways to do charcoal. The reason why I'm doing this is I saw some charcoal art last night at the gallery hop, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. Um, so uh, again, there's a million different ways to do charcoal, but I'm working on this technique where I combine, a couple of different techniques into one. So that's what I'm working on. The second part of this is I actually have a glass of water here. So I like to dip my charcoal pencil into the water so that the tip of it is wet. I don't know if this is like just my imagination or if it's true, but it feels like when I do that, the charcoal pencil is so much smoother and it kind of like pre-blends on the paper. Um, and it just comes out looking super dark. I just like the way it looks. So I don't know if that's all in my imagination, but it's part of my technique, so I do it. It might be in my imagination, like it may be that like I could just draw this without doing that, but I like it. It feels like it just kind of glides or skates across the paper. So that's what I do. Because like I'm drawing here and it's not wet, like it's already dried and stuff, and it doesn't look like you can't see it on camera, but I can feel it when I'm drawing. And and yeah. Oh, the other thing is, so like the gallery that I went to, um, well, it's a gallery hop, so there's a bunch of different galleries, and all the different galleries are different. All the different galleries are different. I make a lot of sense, don't I? You can tell, like, I don't make a lot of sense even when I'm not drinking. So at least I'm consistent. But yeah, so like all the galleries are different, and the one that I really like going to, just because they have the most food during these gallery hops, like they have the best hors d'oeuvres, but also because of the art, is this place called the Artist Attic, and it's kind of cool. It's like a space that artists can rent, or like there's an application process, so it's not just giving them money or whatever. It's like almost like an art community. Um, but one of the historic buildings downtown, the top space of it, like they call it the artist attic because it's literally the top floor, and rather than turning it into some apartment or something, they basically divided it into like a bunch of different studio spaces. I would love to get space in there. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but it's kind of like this communal place where you can go in. You have your own private studio, but also you get to interact with other artists and stuff. So like it's really kind of cool. So I like to go there because you get to see not only art during these gallery hops and stuff, but you also get to like meet the artists themselves because they're like hanging around. And there's so many of them. That's kind of my point. Is that it is it's kind of like a one stop shop for like art, and there's a lot of pastel artists in there, which is cool because like most of the other places they don't have pastel artists. So like that's actually the last gallery hop I went to like 2 months ago is what inspired me to go off and buy some more pastels because like the pastel artists there are phenomenal. They're so good. And I would show you guys their work, but then you guys would go and watch their channel and stop watching mine because they're so much better than me. Um, I'm joking, but almost. But they're really good. Uh, so I like to go down there for inspiration. So that's what I was at yesterday, and they had some charcoal pictures as well, which kind of made me think like, well, it's Saturday morning. I don't want to make a big production. I just want to be a little relaxed and stuff. I don't want to spend all Friday night preparing for a picture. So that's why we're doing this guy. I was going to do a charcoal picture anyway, but then Huli posted this picture of this dog, and I'm like, oh, well, okay, that's why I'm going to do. I'm going to do that dog. I don't even know his name or anything about him. Oh, hey, MJ's in the house. Hey, good morning, MJ. How's it going? Oh, okay. So it is a French bulldog. Okay, cool. Yeah, just Dave was trying to figure out what kind of dog it was earlier as well, and he kind of landed on either a French bulldog or some other dog. So let's just call him a French bulldog, and if we're wrong, we're wrong. You guys are so much smarter than me when it comes to the breeds. I appreciate it. It kind of is dumb because like I I know what I'm gonna draw like at least 20 minutes before I come in and draw it. I should probably spend a few minutes identifying what it is I'm drawing. Anyway, I do like wetting my charcoal pencil so that it really does feel like it's gliding across the page. Whether that's actually true, I don't know, but it feels like that to me, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And then I also have the water because like later on, I do some wet effects with the charcoal. So I'll be doing that as well, probably. I don't know, depending on time. We're only like 30 minutes into this, so I think it's plenty of time. So I am kind of curious. I probably should have asked earlier. I just remembered. Like, you guys doing anything this weekend? What are you guys up to? I told you guys what I'm up to. Tomorrow I'm gonna go watch some ostriches and camels racing. I don't know what I'm doing today, but I might go and hide my wood picture, my fox that I burned into wood. That seemed really popular, by the way. Like I am surprised that got so many views. So it actually picked up a few subscribers as well. So like, thank you guys for subscribing if you guys came from that picture. I do plan on doing more in the future. But yeah, I'm gonna go and hide that probably today if the weather's nice. I may go out and do my sidewalk chalk art. See how that goes. I'm a little intimidated by that, going out and doing that because like I don't know, I feel like it might take a little while and then people might see me and they might want to talk to me. It's a little bit easier on my social anxiety to talk to you guys through the computer than it is to go out in the world and actually interact with people. But like, gotta suck it up and do it because, hey Tom, how's it going? If something intimidates you or challenges you or makes you afraid or something, that's the thing that you should tackle. Like I honestly believe that. I keep that as a lifelong guiding principle. Uh, do the thing that scares you, because once you once you do it, and it's in the past and stuff, you get to look back and you're like, well, I did that, cool. So like, I don't know why that bothered me so much. It's how you learn and progress. Social anxiety, what's that? Yeah, I don't know if you're joking, but yeah, so it's just basically like, I don't know, it's just normal. Everybody gets like nervous and stuff. Um, you know, Interacting with people in public. For me, it's that plus a little bit more. Like I just have trouble um doing like public speaking, things like that. It's one of the reasons why I started this channel, is to kind of like get over that. I used to My last job, I actually was in charge of doing like stand-up meetings in the morning, and I found that like, man, this is tough, and it's really tough because like the stand-up meetings is with coworkers that I've worked with for years. It's like, yeah, okay, you're joking, but it's still nice to talk about. Um, so like it's odd because these were my friends essentially that I'm standing up in front of and giving the morning meeting thing, and these are people that I've worked with for years. Like we talk all the time and stuff. There's no real reason to be anxious in front of them. They're people I know. They're not strangers. Uh, but it doesn't matter. The brain doesn't know. The brain doesn't care. The brain's like, I am talking in front of people, and you start getting like anxious and stuff, and then that just makes it worse. Like you get a little anxious in front of people, and then in your mind your face is like twitching and everything, and then they can see your face twitching, and and none of this is true, of course. Your face is normal. Like actually your face twitches sometimes anyway. It's not a big deal. Nobody cares, but in your mind, you're like so self-conscious and everything that it's just like terrible and all that. So it sucks. The public speaking thing, like it builds up and it builds up, and then you just feel like you're going to pass out. And I don't know, some people do, but like I've never passed out or anything like that. It just feels like you're gonna. And it's the thing that strikes me the most about it is it is purely a physical reaction caused by mental stuff that isn't true, right? So like your brain causes like this fantasy in your mind of like all these different things that are going to go wrong, or like all this like hyper focus on you and all that. So first off, these morning meetings that like I first noticed this stuff at my old job. Uh, First, nobody cares about these meetings. Like these meetings are something we do because it's like we have to, because it's like the morning stand up meeting. In these meetings, you basically talk about what you did yesterday, what you plan to do today. Basically what's your goal for the day. It's a formality. Nobody cares. Nobody. So like your supervisor doesn't care what you say, right? So like if you say, well, yesterday I didn't do anything at all, they might they might be a little bit concerned. But if you tell them that, yeah, yesterday I worked on such and such project, I made this much progress on it and stuff, like they're just tuning that out. It's basically a formality. Nobody really cares what you say. And everybody's like half asleep anyway. Like no, they're maybe drinking their coffee. They haven't finished their coffee. They're just getting started on the day. So like there's the point is there's no reason whatsoever to be self-conscious about that stuff. But I was, and I'm like, well, I don't want this to like be crippling, because it is for some people. Like social anxiety is super crippling, and I would say it's pretty bad for me as well. Like it makes me want to avoid things. But then that's kind of my point. That's what I'm actually getting at. It's like these aren't pleasant experiences. They do make me want to avoid the experiences. Um, like even going to a party with friends and stuff. In my mind, I'm second guessing myself. Like I don't really want to go there and deal with that and all that. And the truth is, I always have fun when I go to these parties. So um, I need to I need to be able to like cope with it so that I do go and have the experience that I want to have, even though I'm suffering throughout the entire thing. So anyway, my challenge, well, it is a challenge, right? So my solution to the challenge is to just face it head on and say, well, okay, I'm just going to do this anyway and suck it up. And I know that doesn't work for everybody, but it is something that like I'm working on myself. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to do it. So the way I work on it like that is I'm like, well, if I do it enough, then I kind of desensitize myself to it. And I do believe this works, right? So the first couple of times I did the live stream here, for example, I was unnecessarily super nervous. Like I had like maybe 3 or 4 viewers. So like, what does it matter? Like it didn't matter at all, but still I was kind of a little bit self-conscious about it. And, you know, now I've done these enough times that I'm not that worried about it, right? I'm not that concerned about it. So I do think, and like I said, it probably doesn't work for everybody, but it did work for me, or it's working for me to just kind of like force yourself to do that thing that bothers you. Force yourself to do that thing that you're afraid of. And the more you do it, I wouldn't say you get over it, but you become desensitized to it essentially. So like even though I do have like social anxiety because I put myself out there in public more, it affects me less. I'm not saying it's disappeared. It is one of those things that you just have to like. I think at some level it's chemical. So like unless you go on meds or something, which I'm not on any kind of medication for it. You're probably just gonna have to deal with it. I don't even know if there is medication for it. Maybe that's an option for people. I'm just telling you what works for me or like what I'm working on at least. So anyway, you guys help with that. So yeah, facing one's fear is tough. It really is. Um, and oh, the other thing I've noticed about like anxiety in general is you know, and I'm not talking about like general anxiety. I always feel general anxiety, right? So like I am always not comfortable, like in many different ways. So for one thing, I have allergies, and the allergies cause my nose to run all the time. But also, I'm constantly itchy, right? I think I'm even allergic to dogs, and I have dogs everywhere. I sleep with dogs. You know, dogs are a part of my life, so I'm never going to give that up, even though I'm allergic to them. So anyway, I'm always constantly itchy all the time. So I'm never actually comfortable. So like, but from like an anxiety standpoint, yeah, I'm always worrying about things. I'm always concerned about things like you know, just in general. And that's never going to go away. Like I don't even talk about half the things that concern me because they're like background concerns, you know, like they're not things I'm actively even thinking about. But they do cause me to just like be in this constant state of general anxiety. But that's not really what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about like the panic kind of anxiety where, um, you know, like you're asked to do public speaking and you stand up in front of people and you get the butterflies and all that stuff. And, you know, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. That kind of stuff. There's other tips and tricks to it as well. So like one of the things that I think helps with that is that, you know, those type of anxiety attacks they don't last long, you know, they last up to it's your body inappropriately reacting to like you know, like a situation. It's that fight or flight response even though you're not in any danger, right? You're just having a conversation with friends, you know, your friends don't want to murder you that I know of. So like your body is inappropriately reacting to a situation, but it's temporary. It doesn't last very long. You know, it's like 10-15 minutes at most. Um, but knowing that helps because like you kind of start the mental clock when it starts, right? So like you start feeling like super anxious, and then it's like, well, you know, 10-15 minutes later, I'll be all right. So let's just wait it out, you know. There's that. I don't know where that saying started, but it's pretty common. So I apologize to whatever cultural group came up with it, but it is that saying like this too will pass. That is true. That helps. You know, just realizing that like no matter what it is, give it a few minutes, it'll go away. Or like this. this bad situation is temporary. And I think that's true. I like that's something I kind of hold in my mind. Just not even for this type of stuff, but just like for bad things in general. Like it is all temporary, and I like to. It's a little morbid, but I like to make the joke like there's only one thing that will kill you, you know, and or like one thing that you should be concerned about, and spoiler alert, that happens at the end, right? So like you don't know when it's going to happen, but it's only going to happen the one time, right? And I'm talking about like, you know, like whatever kills you is only going to happen once, and it's at the end of your life. So it's like all this concern, all this stress and worry and stuff like that is for nothing. It's literally for nothing because you the one thing that you should be worried about, you can't do anything about. It's just going to happen, and it's like, you know, it's going to happen at some point, and you can't predict it. So all this worry about stuff, you know, it's just like it's hard to tell yourself these things, but it is true that it is completely unnecessary. It serves no purpose. It doesn't accomplish anything. It's just needful worry. I think that's kind of that's probably important messaging. Like the more I think about what I'm saying, I'm like, man, that actually applies to a lot of things. Like sometimes I forget these things. It's nice to remind myself. But I think it applies to a lot because like the world right now is in this, you know, like whatever anxiety you've got, the world at large also has its collective anxiety, and you know, and I don't know if like this is a different chapter in our history or whatever, but I think it is safe to say that people are pretty stressed out right now, um, and I wonder how much of it is like appropriate and how much of it is just like overthinking it. Because like, you know, personal anxiety is largely overthinking it and overstressing it and stuff like that. So I don't know if there's like a societal version of that, but it's probably the case. Anyhow, that's my thinking on that at least. What do you guys think? I just realized. Jump in the shower when you have a panic. Yeah, I mean, it's a little hard to jump in the shower if you're like at work, though. Like, I mean, you can go in the bathroom and like run cold water over your face, maybe. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah, so like that, yeah. Um, and it's kind of a version of that. So like, you know, I hate to, you know, make people think about death, but like the truth of it is like that is it's a one-time event, you know. People stress about like all the different ways to die and stuff, but you're only going to die once and it's going to happen at the end. So it's like, what is the point of stressing it? I don't know. I always start with the right side of these like my pictures. It's so weird. Like, and it's so weird. I do the right side and then I have to jump over to the other side to do that. I don't know why I do that. Anyway. Yeah, I think it's a good morning. So like kid says that it's raining where she's at, so that kind of sucks. Raining in Georgia. But here it is beautiful out. Like I'm looking out the window, I don't see a single cloud. So at least for me, it's a good day. It's going to be a beautiful day, and I think the temperatures come down. I don't know, like what I haven't checked what the temperature is going to be today, but over the last 2 days, it's been like during the day, it's been like mid to high 80s, but maybe pushing 90. But that is so much lower than what it's been over the last couple of weeks. Like over the last couple of weeks, like around here, like I want to say like 100 degrees, it feels like, but you know, some of you guys live in places where 100 degrees isn't really bad. But it's felt like it, and it's really bad for these parts. So I haven't even wanted to go out or do anything, but if it keeps like it's been over the last couple of 2 days, I might go for a walk, guys. I might actually go for a walk. I'm just kidding about not going for a walk. I went for a walk yesterday. That's what the whole gallery hop thing is about. You don't drive from one gallery to another. It's all in the downtown area, so you it's an excuse to go for a walk essentially. Like it is almost like a pub crawl. Like you could like get all liquored up and then go for a walk to all these different galleries. That might be fun. I had like one glass of wine, so like that's not going to affect me. I think I'm a little bit desensitized to alcohol, considering how much bourbon I drink. one glass of wine is not going to get me intoxicated. Maybe legally, like you probably shouldn't drink after multiple glasses of wine, but I'm not going to feel it. So I won't drive, but also it's not going to affect my actual cognitive ability to have two glasses of wine. But I only had one last night. Any morning I'm perpendicular to the ground is a good one. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Like some mornings I just want to sleep in and then I'm horizontal to the ground and that's still a good morning. Like just being upright isn't like a deal breaker for me. Like I can be horizontal and still be having a good morning. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a good weekend, guys. Probably better than the last weekend. Last weekend was terrible for some folks. I probably shouldn't joke about that. It's still a little soon, but yeah, I think that this weekend is going to be better. I mean, I already told you guys what I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to go watch ostriches and camels race at a racetrack. Like how awesome is that? I like just the saying that I'm going to go watch ostriches and camels race. It's just like that is the coolest thing ever that I've ever said. I'm joking, but it really feels like it's like that might possibly be the coolest statement I've ever made. Is like I'm gonna go watch ostriches and camels race at the track. It is that's literally awesome. Putting the drama in the dromedary. Dromedary? I don't know what a dromedary is. I think you made up that word. That does not sound like a real word. So this dipping of the pencil also like I'm barely moving the pencil across the page. Like that is not I'm not applying a lot of pressure. But because it's liquid, it's moving around almost like ink. And I think that I think that that's cool. Like I said, I don't know how much of this benefit of wetting the pencil is in my head and how much of it is real, but it seems to actually work well. So if you're like a charcoal artist, I don't know if this would work with graphite pencil, but certainly if you're like a charcoal artist and you haven't already tried this, try dipping your pencil and just seeing if you like it. It's the reason why I tape down the paper and stuff. I don't want the paper to warp, but this is mixed media paper, so I'm not worried about it tearing or, um, you know, suffering from being wet or anything like that. Type of camel. That's a good question. I don't really know. I don't know the different types of camels. Hey, Tom, I appreciate it, Tom. Thank you. Yeah, this is apparently a French bulldog that Huli posted in the chat earlier today, and I'm like, oh, I don't have a big preference on what I draw today. I just wanted to do a charcoal pictures, so I'm like, I'm gonna steal that picture. I'm gonna draw that dog. I don't know the name of the dog. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's Huli's actual dog. I think she's dog sitting. But like we're gonna make that dog a happen. So I think we're doing okay on time. I mean, we've got a pretty good face in here so far, so pretty happy with that. Let's see, where does the actual darken in this area here, just so that I know what part's ear and what part's head. Brian Ramos says camel lights unfiltered. One hump, not two. So all the camels I've ever seen in life were like one hump. Like I don't know what they're gonna have at the. It's a horse racing track, and I'm pretty sure they're not bringing in camels from across the country. So it might actually just be like local camels, because I do think that they have them here in Kentucky. Um, but my guess would be one hump. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, MJ, camels and ostriches. Yeah, this local horse racing place, is like a promotional event. They're doing They do wiener dog races, but that's not until next month. This month they're doing camels and ostriches. So I don't know. I'm just super excited about it. Maybe it's gonna be dumb, but it sounds exciting to me. I I don't know. Like camels racing, that just are they fast? I don't know. Like you always see them like just plodding across the desert in the movies. I don't know. Like it doesn't seem like camels would be fast, but maybe that's just my ignorance. I don't know. There's also people doing like uh, horse polo, like where they're playing basically croquet with on horseback. There was some of that going on too. I might go and check that out. That was at the horse park. Arabian camels, also known as dromedaries. Oh, I didn't know that, Packer. That's cool. Only have one hump. Ah, yeah. All right. So I'm done. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. I didn't know what you were talking about. Look, guys, this is an art show, and I barely know art. Okay, you can't expect me to know what a dromedary is. Like I didn't even know what dog this was. Like I didn't even know what type of dog this was. Somebody had to point out that it was a French bulldog. So don't come here for facts, guys. Come here for the entertainment. I do like his expression, how he's like kind of looking off to the side. Beautiful dog. All right. I feel like he needs more of a nose here. I don't know about this ear. Come back to this. Yeah. If this was on like cable channels, it would definitely not be on the Learning Channel. It would be on Comedy Central. That'd be kind of cool, like a Comedy Central show where like it's actually a comedy show, but then like the person's trying. So like Bob Ross meets, I don't know, like if Bob Ross did stand up, I would definitely watch that show. Like if Bob Ross did stand up comedy, that would be cool. Bet on the ones named Lawrence or Omar. I call him Arthur. Hmm. Arthur's a good name. I don't know if you mean for this dog or for the camel, but Arthur's a good name. I don't know this dog's name. Wish I did. I could have probably asked Julie. I just like I don't know. She might have actually replied to my post in the chat. I haven't been in there. All right, so I got to work on a nose because this nose does not know. It's not nose it looks. It's still early enough for brunch. I might go out and get some brunch after this. We call them art. That's cool. Yeah. Bob Ross meets Sam Kinison. Oh, that would be great. Like that would be definitely opposing personalities. Bob Ross is so mellow, and then Sam Kinison is so like like not mellow. That'd be awesome, actually. Like that would just like be a weird combination. I'm trying. I can't even picture what that might be. Like how can you be both mellow and also like yelling at the top of your lungs? Like the happy little squirrel in the street, and it's so happy. Mistakenly it's around. Ah! That's great. I love it. That would be funny. I support that. Like if that was the show, I would watch the crap out of that. There's a lot of shows on like regular TV that are about all kinds of different things, right? So like there's reality TV for I don't know, history, treasure hunting, cooking, basically any kind of hobby that you can think of. But there's not a lot anymore. Like Bob Ross was obviously this type of show, but there's not like a lot of like art related reality TV, which I think is kind of weird. Like art is such a big part of culture, that you would think that there'd be more reality TV based on it, because like sometimes I like to put on TV and just kind of like have it playing in the background while I'm doing other stuff, like while I'm working. Um, but yeah, there's not like a lot related to art in that genre. Like there's actually a British show. Just Dave's still in here. There's a British show called Portrait Artist of the Year. I did, there's also like a landscape artist of the year, but I end up watching that on YouTube. But those are pretty good. So that's where they have like it's kind of like an art competition. They have people um, come in, and they have like celebrity sitters. So like they might have I don't know, David Tennant was one of them. So they would have David Tennant come in and like sit in a chair or something while artists you know create his portrait. And they get like 4 hours to do it or something, and that's pretty good TV. Like I don't know why here in America we don't have like reality TV like that. You can still make it competition based, because like you need some sort of format to make it interesting so that people will watch it. You can still make it competition based. Um, but I'm surprised they don't have more of that, because people are into art. People like seeing people paint and draw and stuff like that. Obviously, you guys are here watching me do it. I feel like there should be more television for art. Something for me to watch while I'm doing other things, like while I'm doing art. That'd be cool. John Nagy's draws back in the day on PBS. I'm not familiar with that one. The big one, of course, was Bob Ross. I remember watching that. I think it was every Saturday morning after. So I would watch my cartoons and then I would watch Bob Ross. I think that's what I did when I was a kid. I don't remember. I do remember that I probably seen most of Bob Ross. Like he was pretty prolific. Like he made a lot of paintings and stuff. But when I go back and watch him now, and I'm like, oh, I actually remember that particular painting. So I might have actually watched every single thing that he did. I don't know. Yeah. That guy's that guy's the boss. He's good. Like everybody knows Bob Ross. Bob Ross, the boss. Um, Really influential too. Like it doesn't like you probably go anywhere in the world and say Bob Ross and somebody's gonna know what you're talking about. Like Bob Ross and the Beatles, universal recognition. That'd be kind of cool, like to have that kind of notoriety. Actually, I wouldn't want to be that famous. Like I would like to. I would if I ever became famous, which is not going to happen. That's not even a goal of mine. If I ever did though, like say I was a celebrity movie star or something like that, some A-list actor, Ryan Reynolds, right? Like let's say Ryan Reynolds, because he's got Deadpool coming out next week. If I was Ryan Reynolds, I would like I wouldn't want to be world famous. I would like to have at least one place in the world where I can go and be anonymous, like where nobody knows who I am. Some third world country or whatever, some place where I could just go and hide out if I needed to. Because like that's a lot of pressure, to be like super famous like that. It- um, Kevin Bacon, I read an article from him or about him recently, where he said that he actually worked with a makeup artist one time to like actually put on a disguise so that he could pass in, like just regular public without being recognized. And he said he hated it. Like he said he he would never do that again. But he actually paid a makeup artist to like disguise him so that he would not look like Kevin Bacon, so that he could go walking around and stuff. And he actually says that he didn't like the experience, that he prefers to be famous. He's like, nobody gave you free things, nobody was nice to you or anything like that. And I'm like, yeah, well, welcome to the rest of the world. I don't know if he was joking or not, but he says he prefers to be famous. And yeah, I get that, like totally. But also, if you were famous, like it's also nice to just walk around and be anonymous. I like that myself. I like walking around in crowds. Um, and like nobody knowing who you are. You're just walking around doing your own thing. Um, like you're in Las Vegas or something, walking on the strip. Hundreds of other people out there, if not thousands. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares. I like that kind of anonymity. To each their own, though. Kevin Bacon wants to be famous. Well, you know, he put in the time. I like Kevin Bacon. I used to play that 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon stuff. I was pretty good at it. Like, basically, I could come up with any kind of movie. I probably wouldn't be able to do it as well now, but back when that was like more popular, I actually got pretty good at it. There's so many different like major movies that Kevin Bacon was in. It makes it pretty easy. Like A Few Good Men, for example. There's so many celebrities in A Few Good Men that you can tie Kevin Bacon through 6 Degrees to other actors and movies and so on. I'd rather be Footloose than Almost Famous. Almost Famous, that's a good movie. I love that movie. That's a great movie. If anybody's interested in a movie about, well, it's fictional, so it's not like a documentary. But if you're interested in a movie about rock and roll in its heyday, like, and we're talking about the '70s, um, rock and roll, watch Almost Famous. It's such a good movie. I think it's where Kate Hudson got her start. Um, she's pretty young in it. I don't know if that was her first movie or just like the one that she was in that kind of made her a star. But she's in that. A couple of other people, I don't remember their names, but the plot is really good. I really enjoyed the story. The story is about a young kid who wants to be like a, journalist, like a Hunter S. Thompson kind of journalist, and follow the bands around and stuff. And he kind of gets roped. He's really young. He's still in high school, but he pretends to be older to get a gig, like a freelance gig, writing an article for Rolling Stone, I think. And it's just a really good movie. Yeah, Tom agrees. Yeah, it's a great movie about. It's funny. It's a funny movie too, but great movie about rock and roll. I love that movie. I might watch that movie again actually. Now that it's been a while since I've seen it. I want to say that came out maybe 20 years ago. I don't know. It's been a while. So he's got a little bit of color peeking out through here. So I'm gonna kind of straight edge that bottom. Even though in the reference picture it's not that straight edge, I'm gonna emphasize the straight edge here just so that you know it's a collar and it kind of disappears up into there. And then I'm going to kind of finish up the collar over here. So how are we doing on time? We're doing okay on time. So I like the face. The face is looking pretty good. Not perfect. None of my pictures are ever perfect, but good enough is good enough for me. I think it looks pretty much like him. So I'm going to quickly, I think, put in some of this other body stuff, and then I'm going to move on to like some of the effects because like that's important to me in this style. I want to develop the style so that I can do drawings in a kind of like muscle memory kind of deal where I've done enough of them. You know, like my coffee paintings. My coffee paintings all kind of looking similar in style. I want to develop a style like that for my charcoal. So I'm almost painting with it. So like it is almost like ink when you dip it in the water. Just kind of like comes out like it's already dry here. So like this is what happens when it's dry. So dry and wet. See the difference? It just kind of comes out like ink. And I like that. I really like how that works. And it dries pretty quick, so it's like already I'd have to like keep dipping in. And I guess in that way it's like ink from a well. But trying to quickly get in some of this dark area. All right, so I feel like that's pretty good enough. All right, so the next thing that I do, well, let me get in this sorry. Gotta get in his oh, what are these things called? Why am I not able to think of like what this is called. Dog collar. They're not dog collar, but dog tag. Yeah. I couldn't think of what that was called. A little adorable little dog tag here. I don't want to get crazy with it, but what sucks with these kind of features is that they are kind of precise. Like you have to take your time and make it look like the actual thing. All right, so that's pretty cool. All right, so I'm done with that. All right, so the next technique that I wanted to work, Jeremy, I finally started watching Mr. Robot. Oh, what do you think? Do you like it? Pop says Cameron Crowe. You're talking about Cameron Crowe being in Footloose. I don't remember. Not Footloose, but Almost Famous. I don't remember. Yeah, so I'm interested what you think, kid, of Mr. Robot. I like it. It's pretty cool. Ben from Treasure Warriors got me into that. Um, I don't know why I didn't watch it back in the day when it first came out because it is my kind of show, but I enjoy it. It's a little weird, but it's meant to be weird. It's supposed to be like psychological almost. So this part of it, I'm using a brush and just using the charcoal like this, and kind of giving it like a painterly look in some areas, which I like the combination of different techniques here. So this because it's like his chest and everything, it kind of looks a little feathered, essentially. Feathered? Feathery? Furred? Is that a word? Furred? Besides somebody's name? Anyway, just getting some fur in here. But this is a great way to like add, almost like a watercolor look to certain areas. And I'm going to use it kind of to like abstract some of this area around the dog that I don't really want to like spend a lot of time on and so on. Um, Kind of use it to abstract in his paw a little bit, maybe blend some areas. Because like down here, he's sitting on like a couch ottoman or maybe even the couch itself. But there's not like a lot to draw in down here. So just gonna kind of use this technique to kind of put some of this stuff in. I almost stopped watching when season two started because it got weird. It is a weird show. Like if you're not into weird shows, it's probably not the best. I like weird shows. Um, I like shows that are kind of like cool. Mr. Robot is kind of cool. Like the whole hacking aspect of it and everything like that. They spend a lot of time trying to get that accurate. So like I appreciate that when shows spend the time like they probably hire like technical consultants. Like this show was really big for like hacker culture, which I'm not part of. Like I do programming, but I don't do like hacker type stuff. But there is like a lot of people out there who are into that. So I think this show was kind of made for them. But they spent some time actually getting the technology correct. So like, a lot of those scenes that they're showing like computer programs and stuff like that. Those are real computer programs that people use to do the stuff that they're doing in the show. The other thing about it is they ran like what's called an ARG when the show was actually on the air. This is something that Ben was really into, so you'd have to ask him for details on it because I wasn't around for that. But an ARG is like an augmented reality game. So there was parts of that show that involved like a puzzle in the real world, right? So like you'd watch the show for like hints and clues to solve the real world puzzle. So I like that aspect of it, even though I didn't get to participate in it. I think that's kind of cool. I don't think it's the first show to do that, but like like shows that bridge the television to the real world, that kind of goes back like a long way. I'm trying to think of some examples. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but when I was a kid, there was um there was a game where like you buy a toy and something in the toy interacted with what was on the screen, and you can actually shoot at things that are on the screen and like earn points and stuff like that. So it was like a video game that was tied into the show. I can't remember the name of that. It was something Captain something. Captain Captain Power. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. But it was you would buy like a little gun and point it at your TV, and I don't know how it worked, but it would interact with your TV and be a game. But anyway, um, that's not what Mr. Robot is. Mr. Robot is different. It was like a little puzzle or something like that. I don't know if there were prizes or whatever for solving it, but you were supposed to watch the show and like it's just like an extra little layer to the show. It kind of tied in with the show too. Like it's like if you blink, you miss the important stuff. So anyway, like I said, Ben knows more about it. You can probably Google it or whatever. But I like things like that. But yeah, 100% is a little weird. The show is a little weird. It's not for everybody. Um, Definitely don't don't watch shows just because I say them, because I do watch shows that aren't always appropriate. Like shows that aren't shows that are weird, shows that aren't appropriate for all ages. Like I'm a big fan of like The Boys. The Boys is like really, really gruesome when it comes to like I don't know violence and blood and guts and things like that. You don't want to watch that if you've like got a sensitive stomach or if you're a kid or whatever. Um, I enjoy shows like Breaking Bad, where you're literally rooting for the bad guy. That's not good, right? We want to be a nice society with heroes, not villains. Um, I like Game of Thrones. There's like a lot of questionable content on Game of Thrones. Although I would say House of the Dragon, which is Game of Thrones a show like prequel, I think that's on now. It is far less inappropriate than the original Game of Thrones. The original Game of Thrones, they had like a lot of nudity in it, a lot of like, you know, questionable content. Um, the new House of Dragons, it's kind of tampered down a lot of that. It's more of a thinking type show, like more of I guess it's a drama, but like if you didn't like some of the stuff from the earlier Game of Thrones and stuff, you're probably not going to be as bothered by that in this, even though none of that bothers me. Like, it's all entertainment, but I can see how some people it may not be appropriate for them. Um, Obviously, I like a lot of Marvel shows. That's not for everybody. Not everybody's into comic books, and some people probably over it. Like Deadpool comes out next week. I'm gonna be like first in line to watch it. That's probably not the case for most people. A lot of people probably got into the whole comic book thing for like Endgame and that whole 10-year Marvel story arc and stuff, but then maybe they're over it now. I respect that. But yeah, like I mean, I'm going to talk about the things that I'm interested in on this channel and everything, but don't run out and watch something just because I recommend it. Although I do think that Mr. Robot's really good. There's another thing that Ben recommended that I watched it. Leftovers. Leftovers was a good show. That was an HBO show that I think only ran like 2, 3 seasons. That was a really good story. I That one was almost like it was a bit of a mystery. It was a weird show. Like everything I watch is weird. Now that you bring it up, now that I think about it, yeah, everything that I watch is weird. But that show, Leftovers, it started with the premise almost that like half the population, I don't think it was half, a large portion of the population was like raptured almost, like they just all disappeared unexpectedly. And there was a part of the story was like what happened to these people, where'd they go, and then the other part of the story was like how did the people who were left behind deal with their loss, and there was like a lot of mystery to it and a lot of just really good storytelling. I enjoyed that. That was another Ben recommendation. So I question his take on a lot of things, but when it comes to TV shows, he actually has some really good recommendations. Um, and then like a lot of times I mention shows that have been out for a while and like I'm just getting around to watching them. Like I'm watching the final season. I think it's the final season. I don't think they're gonna make more of it, but maybe they will. I'm watching the final season of, or the most recent season of Archer. That's an animated show. That's good for all audiences. I think that's a good recommendation. I enjoy that show. I've always enjoyed that show. Um, but I'm late to the game. That episode or that season's been out for like a long time. I'm just now getting around to it. Um, True Detective final or like most recent season was it Night Country. I just got around to watching that. That's been out for months. So I'm a little slow to like I couldn't do a show where I'm actually talking about these things in real time because like I don't watch them in real time. I get around to them eventually. Definitely in like new shows. New shows, I wait to see what people think of them before I get involved. Like there's some really good shows out that people are recommending that I have not watched and I probably won't get around to it for a little while. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but anyway. Yeah, Mr. Robot. Very good. Thanks, MJ. I appreciate it. Yeah, I like this puppy. I think he's looking pretty cool. A little bit more dark through here. I think we're I don't know, maybe 20 more minutes. Probably more like 10. I'm getting better at estimating how long things are going to take, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, I'm just rendering um, the picture now. And by rendering, I mean putting on like finishing touches, making it look a little bit cohesive. Obviously the face was in there a while back, so he could have just called it done then. But I like smoothing things out if I can. So like this part is kind of cut off in the picture, so I don't really know what to do over here. So I'm just going to kind of darken this in and kind of like let it just flow off the main thing. He does look like he's up to no good. So the reason why I chose this picture, honestly, is the expression. I like the expression on this dog's face. He does look like he's up to no good. So I'll draw any dog. I just love drawing dogs. But if I can get a dog that has like a story attached to him, there's definitely a story attached to this guy. He's doing something, or he, like in my mind, he's kind of looking at the viewer and he's saying something to them. I can't tell what. Like in my like looking at him now, I feel like he's telling me like, what did you just say? Like he's like, I know you didn't just say that like you're really good at art or whatever it is. He he's got this judgmental look on his face, like he can't believe I just said that type deal. That's what I get out of it. But he does look like he also looks like he just you know I don't know, like he did something bad and he's trying to blame it on the cat. I can see that. Yeah, exactly. He does look a little guilty. I feel like he did something that he wasn't supposed to do, and you accused him of it. So you're like, why'd you do that? And he's like, I know you didn't just. I know you just didn't like try to blame that on me. That was the cat. He's got a Samuel L. Jackson voice. That's what I'm hearing in my head. In my head, he's got a Samuel L. Jackson voice, which is like iconic. I know you didn't. Anyway, so I'm going to try to smooth out some areas here in the face without trying to screw it up. I'm going to hopefully not screw it up. It should be darker. I hate doing this because like towards the end it's like you've got parts that you really like and you don't want to touch them, but you kind of have to, you know, because like down here it's like super smooth. So now I need to make it a little bit smooth up here in certain areas. And that's just basically like you've got a wet brush, not too wet, and you're just kind of like moving things around. What this does is kind of like the texture of the paper causes like little areas that the charcoal doesn't really push into. So like by doing this, you're kind of like filling in those areas. And, kind of smoothing them out. You know, blending, whatever you want to call it. But you're not really blending here because I don't know. Blending, I think, is the wrong term for stuff like this. So like blending is like if you have two or more colors and you're trying to like meld them into like one or something. To me, this may like obviously people would call this blending, but to me, I think that that might be a wrong term for it because like you're not really. I mean, I guess you're blending the black with the white. I don't know. Maybe it works. Stop being so judgmental, Jeremy. You're always judgmental. You've always got these opinions and stuff. You should stop that. Get into here. So going back over these things, I just noticed it is actually a good thing because like, you start noticing things that you maybe missed before. Like I totally missed putting in this darker area below his lip. So I'm doing that now. That's a good thing. But like a lot of times I do these live streams and I try to keep them around 2 hours. Like, sometimes they go a little bit under, sometimes they might go a little bit more, but usually if it's pushing 2 hours, I'm like, well, we're just going to stop it regardless of where it is. And, you know, there's only so much you can get done in 2 hours, and you do end up like sometimes missing important things. Like maybe I might leave an ear off or something. That's not probably not the best example because there's like there are ears in this one, but I might like oftentimes when doing pet pictures, I forget to do like essential things like I don't know, like whiskers or something that sometimes you don't see the whiskers, like you don't really see any whiskers on this dog, but sometimes you should, and I might leave those off because they're like details that I forgot to do. But anyway, my point is, within 2 hours, you don't really have a ton of time to put all the rendering in to make it look super realistic, and you know I do think that like what I should do, and I don't always do this because like I'm in the mood now, so I'm doing the picture. But like later on, whatever the picture it is what it's going to be because I'm not going to revisit it. But I should revisit it. Is kind of like what I'm getting at, um, because you can continue to refine this picture over time and create some like really magical stuff. Like when people talk about like, oh, I spent 60 hours on the picture and stuff like that. Well, they probably got the gist of it in 2 hours, is what I'm saying. And then the rest of that, it, I mean, if they spent 60 hours on this picture, that's crazy. But like a picture like this could maybe take up to like 10 hours or something to make it super photorealistic. But they probably got the gist of it in that first 2 hours, is what I'm getting at. So I do think it's kind of cool to come back. Like you can probably like if you just skip back a little bit, you can probably see how this this rendering of the picture and stuff does kind of make it look more smooth and photorealistic. That's by design. And this is kind of like the techniques that I've been really wanting to focus on. Is like, when I first started doing these things, I liked how it looked, and I'm like, how do I get that to where it's consistent? Like, how do I make it look like that all the time? And that's what I struggle with. It's what I practice for. And even though I can see for you guys it might be a little bit boring, like none of you guys have said it's boring, so I appreciate it. But I can see for some people it might be, oh, he's doing another dog. Oh, he's doing charcoal again. It's like he needs to branch out and try something else and stuff. Um, all of that might be true, but this is how you practice. Like it is repetitive. It's going to be repetitive. That's a good thing. The more you spend on it, the better it gets. And while it may be a little bit repetitive and boring and stuff like that, I mean, this you got to do it. You got to do the work. I think that my dog pictures nowadays are better than what I used to do using these techniques. So, you know, that's cool. It stopped raining, so I get to go outside. Oh, okay, I see. So you were only here because of the rain. No, I'm just kidding. Have a good weekend. Uh, stay safe. Hopefully you guys get to have some fun. But yeah, I appreciate you hanging out with this kid. Have a good one. I'm glad it stopped raining. You're probably not going to miss much anyway because like once I get some of these other areas rendered, it's probably done. Oh, I need to add some splatters. That's part of the technique as well. Just because I like splatters, like the splatters look cool. So that's part of the technique. But I always add that at the end. But yeah, definitely have a good weekend. Appreciate you stopping in. Georgia sounds nice. Like Georgia in the summer, especially up in the mountains area. Like if you're in the plains of Georgia, that might be a little bit boring. But up in the mountains where it's nice and cool. Like when I was younger and in the Boy Scouts, it was in Georgia. Like before we moved to up here. I spent a lot of time going on camping trips in the Georgia mountains. It's beautiful. The southern states in the United States are really magical. Like if you get a chance, if you live there, you know what I'm talking about. If you've traveled there, you know what I'm talking about. If you've never been there, you owe it to yourself. Um, it is really nice. All right, let's see if I can get these areas over here kind of blended in without messing it up. It's almost like using watercolor. This bit that I'm doing here. So a lot of what I'm doing in like, you know, not a lot of what I'm doing, everything I'm doing in charcoal. But the techniques that I'm using, you can imagine doing these with the watercolor pencils that they've got out there. And then, it wouldn't be all black and white. You can maybe use like red or blues. I've got some of those, so like after I get better at doing this, I might try that just to see how close it is. But really, I'm just using the pencil and this stick here. So maybe the stick part, I would have to maybe use pastel or like I don't know, or have like a pencil where it's just the inside part and it's not like carved to a point. I don't know. I'd have to figure that out. But I do think that a lot of the techniques that I've been using today, you could also use with like watercolor pencils. And like if you don't want it to be in black and white, you can do a monochromatic blue or red, or even not monochromatic if you want to be bolder than I am and actually do like a proper colored doggy here. I could see how you could use watercolor pencils and make him the proper colors. Like now, this dog is basically black and white anyway, but say he was brown or something, you could do that with watercolor pencils. So don't feel boxed in by what I'm doing. Feel free to express yourself and experiment and try different things. All right. Yeah, this little guy is almost done. I like this part here because we really are smoothing out the features of his face. It does look like, I mean, I don't shoot for photorealism, but also like, if it looks like it was done by a camera, that's not a bad thing. Like the internet really likes pictures that look realistic. Like honestly, I find it tough for other artists who don't do at least a little bit of realism because like the internet will judge you. If you do something that looks like it was done with the camera and you did it in pencil or something like that, you'll get a lot of likes. I don't. I don't know why I don't get a lot of likes, but other people do. And that's probably the techniques that would get you there. I like the softness that this ends up rendering. He's an adorable dog. A French bulldog. I might get a French bulldog someday. I don't know. I'm not a big small dog person. I like medium-sized dogs. Dogs that you can snuggle with. Um, these little guys, they're like they yap. They're yappers. I'm not a big yapper dog fan. I like a dog that goes woof. You know. Hey, Bavetta, how's it going, man? I like a dog that goes that sounds like a wolf. You know, a little dog that sounds like a squeaky toy. That's just not my thing. But a lot of people like these dogs. Like I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up just out of curiosity what the most popular dog breeds out there because like there some small dog is definitely going to be in there. Corgis, um, some sort of terrier. They're going to be really popular. I know they are without even looking, but I don't know. They're not my favorites. I like drawing them. They're really great models. But as far as owning one, I need a woofer, not a squeaky toy. Guinness is kind of on the small side, like not even a medium, definitely a small dog, but not like small like this. I don't. They're all like mutts, so I can't really say. Like I think he's about the size of a border collie because I do think he has border collie in him, even though he looks a little bit like a lab. There's a lot of dogs that look like Guinness, so even though he's a mutt, he looks like a lot of dogs look like. All right, so getting pretty close to calling this done. There's probably like so in the reference picture, which some of you guys have seen already. Through here, there's like some extra white marks that kind of poke through the black and stuff. I'm not going to worry about that so much, but I could probably come back and maybe like remove some charcoal in some of these areas. Like if I had a really nice eraser, I could probably lift some of that up and leave some like white marks through here. I'm comfortable enough that this looks enough like the reference picture that I'm not worried about it, but you could do that. Yeah, so so basically that's a great observation, Bavetta. So I've got like a bunch of brushes here, and this particular brush, I didn't use it for anything else. And when it came to doing charcoal, I wanted to just grab a brush that I wasn't using, so I grabbed this one, and it is a really long brush, which is weird. I think in if I had to do it all over again, I probably would have grabbed a shorter brush because of how I'm using it. It's not like I'm painting a painting where I need a really long brush. Um, it's just I use the same brush over and over again because it's got charcoal all over it. So I can't use it for my coffee paintings. I can't use it for my uh, watercolor pictures. Even if I cleaned it, I'm probably not going to clean it enough to where it's completely charcoal free. So just from cross contamination type considerations, I keep reusing this one. Although to your point, yeah, it is kind of weird. It's a really long brush, and if I thought about it when I first grabbed it, I could have probably grabbed a shorter brush, and it would have made more sense. But yeah, that's a great observation. Um, I don't know what some of these brushes would be used for. I not delved down that rabbit hole, but certainly there's some brushes that I've noticed work better for different things. This one works pretty well for like doing this charcoal stuff that I'm doing, but um, there's one there's some brushes that I found work really well for my coffee paintings that are almost like a bunch of hairs. And then like some of the brushes I've just accumulated these over the years. I don't even know where all they came from, but some of them seem like they have like plastic bristles. Those don't seem to absorb the water as well. So like different brushes are good for different things. I don't know what the benefit of a long brush would be, except maybe like it's useful for doing canvas paintings or something on like a I don't know, like something where you're painting something that's vertical and you're doing it. But I don't know. Good observation. I have no idea. It's just the brush I grabbed when I started doing the charcoal ones, and then I kind of keep my charcoal art supplies together, and it's the first brush I grab. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Like it could be a short brush, it can be a long brush. I'll make it work. All right, so that looks pretty cool. The last thing I want to do is like I said, I do like the splatter effects, so I'm going to try to do that here. that's just where you grab some water, use the charcoal square, you just kind of like splatter on it. I like this because like it's something I do for my coffee paintings. So it's like I gotta introduce it to this. But I really like this because it's a good way to like emphasize the preciseness of the face or detail of the face, and then down here, because it's hard to really make out any kind of details, like where does the body start and stop. It's almost like the body's dissolving. Uh, that creates like this really cool contrast. So it helps direct your eyes towards the face if all of this is kind of like more abstract. If that makes sense. So like because you don't know where the body starts and stops and so on. It's also like it allows me to be lazy. I don't want to draw all the details. Like first off, the reference picture doesn't have them, so I don't know where the tail begins and the butt ends and all that stuff. So I just add these splatters, and then I don't have to worry about it because the dog is like kind of, I don't know, Thanos snapped him out of existence and he's disappearing on us. So it's something I've done in some of these charcoal pictures that I've done before, and I like how it looks, and I'm just gonna keep doing it. It's part of the technique. And again, I'm trying to develop a way of working with charcoal that's consistent, so that like there's a million different ways to use charcoal. This is just one of them, but I like this process that I used to do this dog picture because they all end up looking very similar, like the same artist did them in the same style. So that works for me. I like it. Um, I like doing charcoal in other ways. Like I really liked how I did my Wednesday Addams picture where I just had a bunch of scribbles and then I start lifting up charcoal in order to create light areas and stuff like that. That's still a technique that you could do in this. It's just this particular method where I start off with the blending stump and then I start bringing in some features and then I come in and add the water to kind of smooth things out. I like how it works. So that was the process today. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. If you like drawing with charcoal, I recommend trying this stuff. Just see if you like it. It's fun. It makes a mess. I have to clean it up later, but I've got like charcoal splatters all over my desk. That's always fun. Um, but this works. So like you get a lot of detail in the face, and then down here you don't have to worry so much about like these little paws, even though I'm going to add a little bit of darkness back into these paws just to, so you know where the paw ends. I'm not going to worry about details or anything like that, but just little trimming the nails kind of thing. MJ says, Jeremy, thanks for drawing the bulldog. Trouble is scoopable. Nice. Jeremy enjoyed the camel and ostrich race. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that tomorrow. That's going to be so cool. Just Dave says, love it. Such a cool little dude. Yeah, so I think we're about done. Like, there's probably some touch-ups I can do to make things a little bit better, but I'm pretty happy with this guy. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think Huli told us his name, so I don't know. I don't know what to call him. I'm going to call him Archie. Somebody mentioned Arch, um, like in the channel earlier, or Arthur, sorry, but this guy feels like an Archie to me. Archie the bulldog, or French bulldog. So, until I know his actual name, I'm going to call him Archie. But all right, I think Archie is good enough. Here. Anyway, this is a lot of fun. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, this weekend I'm going to go and see ostrich and camel race tomorrow. So I'm going to try to get some video from that. Even if I don't do like an art related thing, I might just post that up just because like, I don't know, you guys are interested. So I may post some video of the ostrich races just for fun, just because I've never gone to one. I think it's going to be cool. So I'm going to do that. I might go out and do my sidewalk chalk art today, depending on the weather. Like, don't be disappointed if I don't go. It just means that I got lazy or it was too hot or something like that. I'll get around to it at some point. And then I might go and hide my my wood burning picture that I did the other day. I might do that today. So anyway, just to give you guys an idea. So again, this is a particular style I'm working on. This is like another example of a picture that I did in that style. Not 100% happy with this old fisherman dude, but same thing, deal. So like the idea is that like if I can match that style consistently with different types of pictures, That's why I have these like hanging up so that like as I'm working on this, I remember to do it in that style. So like that's a cool little tip for you guys out there. Like if you're trying to develop a style, in your periphery, have examples of that style so that you can kind of like look at it because like, I may have been happy with the dog and forgot to put in the splatters, but because I have those up, I'm like, oh, I should put in the splatters so that it's consistent. So just a little tip or whatever. But anyway, I think Archie's pretty much done. It's a Saturday. There's not like a ton of people watching anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will be back Tuesday for sure. But I may like post something up just about the adventures I have this weekend. So anyway, let me go back to this. There you go. All right. So anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Saturday. As you can see, really bright out. So I'm going to go out and enjoy the sunshine. I hope you guys get to a chance to as well. Have a good one. Appreciate it. Bye, guys.